Welcome to another episode of Coffee with Capril. If you're wondering where the glasses went, no, I did not get LASIK surgery. I'll be the last person to get it. I'm scared of getting it. Now, what happens though, when you're recording videos, you need to have a lot of light. And I'm recording in a room that doesn't, so I've got a big light literally shining in my face. You can't see it, but it's there. And probably can notice my dome getting bright. And when I wear my glasses, well, it reflects. And that kind of drives me crazy. It's probably not something that you would even notice or pay particular attention to. So I'm doing these videos essentially blind. That's okay. I want to talk about a sensitive subject. What else is new, right? When does that ever stop me? Well, this particular subject, again, may not pertain to you at all. May pertain to somebody that you know. Keep it in mind. Years ago, I used to make a joke when I did workshops. I used to ask men in the room how many of them were there in the delivery room when their children were born, and a very high percentage of them were. Now, full disclosure, I was not in the delivery room when Wes was born. I did not want to be in the delivery room. I was going to go, but then the doctors told me I couldn't go because Beth was going to go under full anesthesia, and hospital policy prevented me from going, which I was okay with. But here's the point I was trying to make. When you were there in the delivery room, dads, were you given the opportunity to cut the cord? Because I know a lot of them were. And I use that as a metaphor because one of the things I've noticed is that over the years, cords aren't getting cut with kids like they used to. I don't know about when you were a kid, but I know when I was a senior in college, my mother made it quite clear to me, in a way only she can do, that she would have been highly disappointed in me if I was coming back to live at home after I got out of college with no job. Okay, that was to her like, look, you've been there for 4 years. We're expecting you to have your future planned out. And I did. I remember this was like maybe September of my senior year. So we were just getting started, but I assured her, I said, no, don't worry. I plan on having a job before I graduate, and I really don't plan on ever going home again. That was the expectation, and quite frankly, I didn't want it any other way. Now, I'm not judging anybody who lives at home. Everyone has to make their own decisions. I do become concerned, though, when I see parents well into retirement still being incredibly generous to their adult children, often when it doesn't have to be that way. Now, the point I'm trying to make is sometimes the money's more than available. And by all means, if you don't want to wait until you die to leave it to them, go for it. But I've also seen examples where generosity gets in the way and it puts mom and dad in a very, very vulnerable position. And one of the things I like to tell people is that the greatest gift that you can ever give to your adult children is your financial independence during your retirement years. And most people would tend to agree with me on that. But if you're going to spend money haphazardly, aggressively, or you're going to be overly generous, you need to understand how that factors into your plan. In us working with clients, we're not the boss, okay? You're the boss. But if you can clue us in before you make decisions, it can help us to advise you. If anything, there will be no surprise. So when it comes to our children, it's very difficult to say no. It comes to our grandchildren, it's very difficult to say no. And you don't necessarily have to say no, but you need to understand how it impacts you. This needs to be a decision that you're making with your eyes wide open, knowing that things like longevity, taxes, inflation are all going to factor in your well-being. And I think that, when we get to be retired, it's perfectly okay to put ourselves first, because by putting ourselves first, we're going to alleviate the possibility of being dependent on younger generations, which I know very few people ever want to do. So keep that in mind as you go forward. Again, I'm not trying to draw conclusions about people. This is just a general video. But when I see the government allowing people to stay on their parents' health insurance to age 26, I get a little worried that we're no longer encouraging younger generations to grow up. I mean, think of that World War II generation. You had kids 17, 18 years old leading battalions in France. Heck, you had it in Vietnam as well. You have it today. You have members of the military very young with huge responsibilities. It's not unusual to grow up early. In fact, I think it's admirable to grow up early. So you just want to strike that balance there. All right. So want to keep that in mind. Cut the cord where you can. If certainly it's within your means to be generous, but think it through, because ultimately what we want is the money to last for you. I never want to have to worry that you could outlive your money. Now, if you want to talk about any of this, just click below, schedule a 15-minute call with either me or Nikki, and we'll be happy to discuss it further. Take care.